Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the European crossover webinar. And we saw a pretty good, strong move with indices at the end of the day. Boy, what a move, actually. As the S&P kind of pulled back and forth, and also we kind of got going from that 41, high 50s, 60 area. And then we just started taking off. And boy, did we rip even higher, to the point that not only did we close above 41.95, we actually came in the Asian session, around 42.83. We can certainly go and take a look at that. Things have really turned around where folks just don't want to be short going into this, into the end of P, because they're expecting a pretty good, strong end of P. That being said, it was just, crazy the way it just rallied right into the close. You can see this run. Look at here, we're looking on a 30-minute chart, and we're over here languishing, in the 60s. Actually, we rallied up here in 73, like, okay, they're failing. And we pull back into the mid-60s, or just a little bit lower than the mid-60s, and then we just turn around and just rip, going into the close, and I mean really rip, to the tune of almost 41.95. And then Asia, we kind of push a little bit higher, dip back and push another high, and quite the move here in S&Ps. Obviously here in NASDAQ, same thing, not to the same extent as the S&Ps, but certainly a pretty good little move here. Taking a look at what we are with the euro. Let's see here, pretty good move here against this little pivot area, which if we look on the cash, that pivot is a 2073. We'll take a look at what that is on the cash right now. Yeah, we're 2078. So we've gone and moved above that 2073 on the cash, and the futures, it's 2083 here. You can see that here. Surprisingly, with the Bank of England, I'm jumping all over the place, but Kale was, despite the initial move, a bit of a subdued day, considering, with that move. Not that it was a big move at all or anything wild happened. I'm just saying we got the initial pushback up and down, and then we've been in this range right here, and we're still stuck in the range. We're in the upper portion of this range towards 39.28. It's still relatively quiet, and the NFP is going to really be interesting because they're expecting around 900,000. Let's see here. Yeah, they're actually expecting 978,000. Yeah, 978,000. We could even be stronger than that. The concern is going to have to be if we're too strong, then they're going to be concerned. But it's definitely a potential where we could see the S&Ps push up to new all-time highs. Then what happens after that? I just think that today we're going to see, a lot of movement. Something that we haven't probably seen in a long time, could be proven wrong, but after what we saw yesterday with the S&Ps, this up and down, and then just a rip into the close. But we may just see just this kind of up and down, see how we play out at the beginning. Looking at the news overnight, or coming in to the session here with the webinar, we did get German exports, and that came in at 1.2%. They're expecting a 0.5% growth. Then we got industrial production also here at 2.5%. We got French exports that came in at 145. Or, well, 145 for me, but was about an hour and 15 minutes prior to the webinar. Current account came in actually at negative 2.9 billion. Looking at French non-farm payrolls, quarter over quarter was a gain of 0.3, and the Spanish industrial production 12.4%. Well, looks like it's a drop here. And then right at the top of the hour, when we started the webinar, We did get Italian retail sales, which came in at 22.9%. Holy smokes, that was a pretty good move here. Later on today, it does say that Lagarde will be speaking in about another almost 2 hours. Then, of course, at 8:30 Eastern, we will get the non-farm payroll. And as I mentioned, they're looking for 978,000. Manufacturing, 55,000. I don't think people are going to pay that much attention to that. And then we also get Canadian jobs. Wow, boy, we're going to see some pretty good movement. And that Canadian dollar has been something else. We see here FOMC member Barkin will be speaking at 9 a.m. Eastern. We do get ISM business conditions at 9:45 Eastern and wholesale inventories at 10 a.m. Eastern, along with IVPMI at 10 a.m. Eastern also. Interesting. Let's take a look also with Bitcoin, how that has fared. We saw a pretty good, response on this rally back, and then we kind of stayed quiet as we did back, and here we are in this current day. Let's take a look here. We've actually been quiet on this pullback. And crude oil, which has really taken off like gangbusters over the last few days, did quiet down from yesterday, and then we're seeing a little bit more follow-through today. So with that, let's go on and get ready. Take a look at the analysis, see what we stand or what we're looking at as we go into the big non-farm payrolls. So the euro ahead of NFP rally to close shy of the pivot 2073. We're actually now just a little bit above that pivot, 2078. To close shy of the pivot of 2073, resistance will be 2096, followed by 2119. And I think it's important, depending on how it comes out, that we actually have these additional levels. So we're looking at 2096. There we go. And support will be 1979. Don't go on. And as mentioned here, is we'll be looking at that 2096 right there. You see this cap right there, 2096, right there. And that actually confluences here with just about this low here, which was actually 2099. And then beyond that, like I said, we're looking right here at the cap of that one, 2119. Right there. Right there. We'll see whether or not that plays out. And then, of course, the 1979. But I think today's going to be interesting in that I think we will end up seeing double moves. I think we could see a rally, then a little bit more of a rally, then maybe a pair back. And we might even see the opposite. I'm not sure how this whole thing's going to play out, but I think it's one time that you definitely want to sit back and watch how it plays out first. Let's go and move into the cable. So cable closed with a doji following the Bank of England. There's a doji here. Ahead of the NFP, resistance on Friday will be 39.85. We're supported 38.17. And let's go and move on to the Aussie dollar. Now, the Aussie broke the daily cycle of the up down. We've been talking about that. It's been something else. Look at this: up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and finally up, up. With a consecutive positive close. Resistance for Friday will be 78.19, followed by 78.55, with support at 76.98. So. Hold on. And as I mentioned, 78.19 here, there, and then if we do go and push up here, 78.50, okay, 78.58, right there. Come across. Let's go on and move into the dollar yen. So the dollar yen closed slightly lower in a tight range day ahead of NFP. Resistance on Friday will be 960, with support at 869, followed by 827. There we go. This is going to be an interesting market today. Well, I don't know. We've been sitting here, but I'm just thinking we can pop back up here. We'll pop up to 1960, maybe come back and fade in a little bit, but we shall see. Moving on to the cash dollar index. So the dollar index faded ahead of the NFP, closing sub 91. Support on Friday will be 90.52, we're already at 90.81, with resistance at 91.67. And that's if things that really start to turn around. I don't know that they're going to go and do that, but we shall see. If they were, we really don't hit real resistance until 91.67. We could jump around here and dance around here, but the real resistance would be right there, 91.67. To here. And you can see that still right here, 91.67. From here, we'll go on and move into Bitcoin. Didier says, I have a frozen screen. Is it only me? Yeah, Didier, it must only be you. I don't see anyone else that's saying that they have the frozen screen. And I'm going to be switching over. I think we already switched over to the Bitcoin. So we're on Bitcoin. But yeah, apparently it looks like it's only you, though. And let's go and move into Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin had posted a solid recovery in here. I'll say it's yesterday, but actually yesterday we kind of calmed down here. We had that solid rebound from the other day. Boy, what a solid rebound that was. Resistance for Friday is going to be, and I put in here 59,149. I think we're going to be all over the place with this Bitcoin. 59,149 with support at 54,985. 54,985. I'm actually giving this a pretty good range. This, I will say, this did surprise me how well we, after this fall, if we rallied back up here, I would have thought we would have sat in this area here. But a pretty good smart move. We hold up, we kind of fade back. Okay, it was all overdone. We fall, and then we come right back again. So I'm just going to give it the benefit of the doubt and put the levels up in here. Still looks like we're going to slide back a little bit, but I was surprised how well we held up in this area. With that, we're going to go and move into the S&Ps. This move was just something else yesterday. Boy, did we really put on a show going in towards the close. Boy, it was an up-down affair here. We come down real low, and then we just, actually, this 2-hour chart honestly doesn't even do it justice for the move that we saw yesterday. Look at this. So the S&P saw a solid rally off the lows through the key 4180 on its way to close at 4196 ahead of the NFP. Resistance on Friday will be 4212 with support at 4180 followed by 4167, and I think it can be that kind of a day. So we could get, tag that 4212 on the upside. Here's 4210, 4212. And potentially, revisit down here for 4180. And then below that is that key level, that 4167. So that's what we're actually looking at. Boy, today's going to be a rock and roll day, and I am not joking. So hang on a moment. Unbelievable. I don't know. The way today's going to play out is just going to be something else. Let's go and move into the NASDAQ. Well, here's the NASDAQ on a 2-hour chart. We're going to the chart. So the NASDAQ broke the downward slide, rallying into the close ahead of NFP. I look here in the down slide here. So we finally broke on this move up in here. So we finally broke the downward slide. rallying to the close of head of NFP. The index would have needed a daily close above 13,652 to negate the downside. Resistance on Friday will be 13,725 with support at 13,522. That 13,522 was key the other day, although we did revisit that again. 13,522. And on the upside, 13,725. There we are. Here. So on the downside, we'll be looking at 13,522 here, but not before potentially coming up here. You can see 13,715, not before potentially coming up here to 13,725, and then we may go and pair back in that area. There we go on the daily. Take a look here on the 2-hour chart. Here's 13,715. I'm looking, not trying to look, make any guesses, just thinking with the move, and the moves haven't matched to the extent that the S&P has, but 13,725, you look at the bottom of this bar, that would give us 25, so maybe we pop up there. And actually look here, that would confluence with this trend line here. So yeah, potentially, that could be this right here. Let's just go on and put a little arrow there. Something we should keep it there. There we go. And you see that trend line come down here? Next is going to be gold. Holy smokes, dude. Gold is something else. Let's get to that. Like, wow. So gold solidified a breakout, closing above 1803. Resistance for Friday will be 1835. We're supported 1898, 1788. Supported 1798, followed by 1788. And boy, we are still looking at. Look at that. We are moving along here. So support's going to be 17. If you look at on a daily, that does match up there for the resistance 1835. So actually, we'll switch over that so we can take a look at that. So here we are on gold. And pull this back a little bit. There we go. See this level right there? Comes in at 1835. Right there. So that'll be resistance 1835. But we are, looks like we're well on the way. Eventually, looks like we'll be challenging. You see right there? Pretty good level there. Going to be challenging 1878 in time, it would appear. Let's go and move into crude oil. Now, West Texas Intermediate continued to weaken on Thursday. Support on Friday will be 64.20. You can see right now we're currently at 64.60 right there. With resistance at 65.70. We are weakening. 65.70. Well, it was only a few days ago when we were here knocking on the door. Strong 66.80. There's the bias chart for today. You can see here, Euro is still looking pretty strong there. Very strong, actually. Overall, we look at it. And as I mentioned here, S&P is looking at 41.96, and that's after pairing back from 42.03. That 42.04 was pretty good resistance. I remember as one of our resistance zones, so not too surprisingly paired back from that area here. And NASDAQ still holding relatively low, above 13,600. Let's go and take a look at platinum and palladium for Mira. Oh, wow. Good little positive development. Look at this on this move the previous day. So we talked about this range yesterday, and we have now gotten above that range. Remember, we needed that close above 1248. We certainly got that yesterday. So the door's open. We're taking a little bit of a pause today, but the door's open for us to move higher. Interesting, it's a little bit quiet today after closing, but look at this close here. Yeah, they got that close. This really opens the door for them to test the upper side, which actually would come in right there, 1282. But it's been quiet. I'm just a little bit surprised they're not pushing it further, but we might see a bit of a stronger push as this day goes by. But we're certainly in good shape there in platinum. Let's take a look at palladium. The key is, we've talked about this so many times. We got to that 161%, we pushed above it, and that's support right now, that 161%. 28.96. 28, actually, it's 28, yeah, 28.96.95. That's support right here. And they tagged it yesterday, they bounced off of it, but that's support right there. Right there. 28, let's call it 28.95. 28.95. So there we have it. And I'll get the bias chart posted, and we'll see you in the chat room. And thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover Webinar, and good luck on NFP Day.